It's not because of a lack of intelligence that people fail, but a lot of people fail both the part one and the part two. And in part one, if you fail more than two topics, more than two courses, you have to repeat. And in part two, if you fail more than one, you have to repeat.
So, would you want to practice?
Yeah, that's the thing about the law. And right now, I'm not really sure. Because
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your girl April, and of course I'm back with another video. And today, as you guys can see, I have another guest. I'm doing a little bit of a conversation like interview, like one of those ones that you've already seen probably on my channel. And if you haven't, then there are two things that you have to do. Check out the videos on my channel page, and of course subscribe to my channel if you like what you see. Today, as you can see, I have a friend here with me. His name is Joseph, and we are going to be talking about the Ghana School of Law experience. I already have one video on that, so if you haven't seen that video, then I'll link it somewhere up here, and of course in the description box down below. So Joseph, hi.
Hi. Okay, so I just finished my second year at the Ghana School of Law after finishing my 4-year LLB at the University of Ghana, Legon. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm doing my internship at the High Court, the Probate and Administration Division at the moment. And once I'm done with that, and after completing my exams and my first and second part of the Ghana School of Law, I'll then do my pupillage.
So can you just give a bit of an explanation about the stages? So let's say your first year is what you call part one, right?
Yes.
And that whole of your first year is strictly theoretical. There is no practical aspect to it. Or you also did internships in your first year?
Yes, I did an internship in the first year. So in the first and second year, you are supposed to do either a court internship or a firm internship. And in the first year, I decided to do my firm internship, and I did it at a firm, yes. And in the second part, that's now where I'm doing it at a court.
Okay, so the internships are compulsory in both first and second year?
Yes.
All right. And I mean, you're almost done?
Yes. So
how does it feel? Are you excited to be done, or you are nervous about what is coming after?
A little bit of both, because I'm very happy to be done, because it's been a long, difficult journey. But now that I'm almost done, it's really scary, because now I can actually see the lawyers who are practicing it, and like I realize that that's what I'm going to be doing very soon, and it's kind of intimidating watching them in the courts and seeing them doing what they do. It's really intimidating, and having to realize that I'll be doing that soon, or trying to do what they are doing soon, it's kind of scary. So it's a little bit of both.
Okay, so can you just take us back a little bit to your first year at Makola? You went straight from your LLB to the Ghana School of Law.
Yes.
So what was your first impression, and how was that compared to your LLB journey?
The LLB was I would say that the LLB was more complicated than the Ghana School of Law, because
really?
Yeah, because the LLB, I was now being introduced to the law, and there were a lot of new concepts that were being introduced to me. So it was a bit more difficult to grasp. With the Ghana School of Law, I already had like a basis. I already had like a foundation in the law, so everything was easier to absorb. But it's a lot more in the Ghana School of Law to learn. Mm-hmm. But it's I would say the Ghana School of Law was less complex.
Overall less complex.
Yes.
Okay. And first year compared to second year, how was the experience like? Would you say that your second year was easier for you? What are the things that you should watch out for if, let's say, someone is now completing their first year? What should they watch out for in their second year?
In the second year, it's less courses that you have to do. So you might think that it's going to be an easier goal. But the thing is that in the second year, it's a lot more practical courses that you are doing, and it's more what you're actually going to be practicing. So it's more difficult like to learn that aspect. Yeah.
So when you say it's what you're actually going to be practicing, what does that mean?
So when you are practicing the law, it's not just reading cases and knowing authorities and knowing the law, but it's about actually going to court and knowing how to practice and how to make your cases in court and all those other things. So the part 2 focuses more on that aspect of like going to court and how to argue out your cases and how you even practice the law and what you are supposed to do in and out of court.
Okay, but are you trying to say that in your first year it's again substantive?
It's more of drafting in the first. No, in the second year it's more of drafting, but in the first year it's more substantive, I would say. Yeah, it's more substantive law that you study, because that's where you do like evidence and civil procedure and all these other courses.
Okay, so the substantive part of practice.
Yes.
Okay, and then the second year is the more practical aspect of practice. Okay, that makes sense. So how does the bar exam tie into everything that you are doing in this whole process of becoming a lawyer? Right now you are interning at the courts, and after that, what's the next step?
The next step is pupillage. So the bar exam is a little different in Ghana, because the bar exam is divided into two. That's the part 1 exam and the part 2 exam. So if you pass the part 1 exam and the part 2 exam, that's when you qualify to become a lawyer. And after you do the internship and the pupillage, then you get called to the bar.
Okay, so there is no one bar exam.
It's divided into two. And the exam is basically based on all the courses that you did throughout your Ghana School of Law tenure.
Okay,
Yes.
So it means you passed the part 1 and you've passed the part 2.
I'm yet to pass the part 2. I've written the exam, but I'm yet to have passed, to get my results and know that I've passed. But yes, I've written the exam.
So you wrote the exam before you started your internship at the court?
Yes.
Okay.
I wrote so at the end of part 1, I wrote the part 1 exam, and then I started my internship. And then after the internship, that's when I received my results for the part 1. Okay. And I knew that I qualified for part 2. Okay. And once I finished part 2, I'm now doing the part 2 internship, which is at the court. Yeah.
Okay, and so you hope to receive the results by the end of your internship?
Yes.
And when is it expected to end?
By next month.
By next month, so September?
Yes.
All right, and then you would know whether you passed the exam?
Yes.
And if you did, then you automatically become a pupil, or you would have to lobby for a law firm to take you in? How is that whole pupillage system like?
So the pupillage, you have to... So either you send applications to firms, or maybe you know somebody in the firm that you can send the application to, and that person may just receive you into the firm, or you may get to the firm and they may want to do an interview of you if they don't know you. And if they like you, or they feel that you're a good fit for the firm, they'll take you in, and you'll be allowed to do the pupillage with them.
Okay, and this can only be done after you qualify to be a lawyer, or I'm just confused about the stages.
So it's all part of the qualifications to be to be called to the bar. And one of the qualifications is the pupillage. One is the internship, another is the passing of the exams, and another is just the going through the part 1 and part 2 process in the Ghana School of Law.
And how long is the pupillage supposed to be?
Usually about 2 months.
About 2 months.
Okay, yeah, 2 or 3 months, yeah.
Okay, so a couple of months.
Yes.
All right, so just to get this clear, right now when you're done with your internship, you would find out the results of your exams. If you've passed the exams, then you get a law firm where you can do your pupillage. After you're done with your pupillage, then hopefully you would be officially called to the bar.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the last requirement.
Yes.
Okay, and if you, I don't want to be negative, but if someone doesn't pass these part 2 exams, what next?
If you don't pass, you have to repeat.
So no pupillage for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, in the part one, a lot of it's very difficult to pass these exams. I say this, but a lot of people repeat, and it's not because they lack the intelligence to move on, or they are somehow lesser than the other students. Usually, it's just circumstances or luck. Yeah, because I would say that all of us study, and like getting to the class, you realize that everybody is brilliant. Everybody is brilliant in their class, and it's sometimes very overwhelming realizing that you have to compete. It seems like a competition, so you feel like you have to compete with these people, and it may be sometimes a bit daunting, but it's not because of a lack of intelligence that people fail, but a lot of people fail both the part 1 and the part 2. And in part 1, if you fail more than 2 topics, more than 2 courses, you have to repeat. And in part 2, if you fail more than 1, you have to repeat.
Okay, you have to repeat the whole course.
You have to repeat the whole course.
So does it mean that in part 1, if you fail just 1?
In part 1, if you fail 2.
Yeah, but if you fail 1?
If you fail 1, you just have to rewrite that
Okay,
paper.
You just have to rewrite that paper.
Yes.
But if you fail 2...
Yes, more than 2.
Oh, okay, more than 2. Then you have to repeat the whole thing.
Yes.
And you have to pay the cost,
you have to pay the cost again.
Okay.
For the school fees and everything again.
So, would you want to practice?
Yeah, that's the thing about the law, because there are so many things that you can do with the law, or as a lawyer. You could work in a company, you could practice as a lawyer, but like as a solicitor, going to the court and defending people and all that. And right now I'm not really sure because I feel as if I wouldn't be excellent as a court lawyer. I feel as if I would be better working in a company as a solicitor.
As an advisor.
Maybe.
An internal advisor.
Yes.
Okay, so you would prefer to be a barrister, but then you don't really see yourself doing that, from what you've explained. Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right, so there you have it. Thank you so much, Joseph, for your very insightful and, I don't want to say legally backed, opinions and advice, but I'm sure that you learned something from this interview and maybe enjoyed it a little bit. It wasn't particularly funny, but it was educational, I suppose. And if you have any comments, then of course drop them down in the comment section below. I myself will try to answer them, and of course I'll get Joseph to also answer them if they are directed at him. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye. Say bye.
Bye-bye.